Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah.
Of the righteous teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city, fixation of the soul is vanity, destruction of the poor is their poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy, holy place. Why do you fight each other? Why do you kill your brother? Then your reward will be the cemetery. got to build a better nation. Clean up Jah creation, or there will be no future for you and me. The lips of the righteous, it teaches many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in the city. Fixation of the soul is vanity. Ooh. Destruction of poor people is poverty. The poor man's wealth is in a holy place.
Definitely give thanks for your presence with us. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Kadamawe, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Of course, you're in the tiger's nest at this moment. This is the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, talking about the international flavor, the universal spice, Radio Anu. Still touching the international community, of course, through all of our subscribers. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the Shock of the Hour. Don't forget we have some top programs coming for you right here in this month of January, as it's called, you know. But today we're going to begin with that whole question that we are asking: is Lalibela the real Christ? And some people may say that's sacrilegious to even ask the question, but of course this is the Mystic Vibration. Give thanks for your presence as we go through.
While churches rose to the sky in Europe, in 12th century Africa, they were being carved out of the ground. These Christian pilgrims in Ethiopia are on their way to worship at one of them. In these highlands, in the 12th century, Lalibela, a new king from a new dynasty, built a new holy capital. Today, Lalibela's legacy lives on. In the physical splendor of the churches and the traditions of their guardian priests.
My
blessed people and congregation, churches with no mud, no wood, and no cement. You cannot find anything like this in the rest of the world. You are all blessed because you are here. This place was built by God.
Every year on St. George's Day, pilgrims gather to celebrate a faith that has endured here for 16 centuries. These Christians claimed that God brought the Ark of the Covenant and the tablets of the Ten Commandments to their land. On holy days today, priests carry on their heads replicas of the tablets wrapped in gilded cloth. The people of Ethiopia have been carving churches out of mountains for more than 1,000 years. But the 11 churches of Lalibela symbolize their achievement to the outside world. A legend, his story told by monks even today.
There was a city called Roha, where lived a man who belonged to one of the most noble of families, one of the richest in gold, silver, garments, precious stones, servants and maids. He had a child who became the mysteriously named Lalibela.
In the legend, the king's greatness was recognized at birth. A swarm of bees descended on his cot as if around honey.
Mother named him Lalibela, which means the bee has recognized him as king. But these were not bodily bees, but angels who took bee form in order to announce his reign.
God sent one of his angels to bring Lalibela to heaven, to show him the most holy of churches. Lalibela, the story goes, ordered tools to be made to carve temples like those he'd seen in heaven. His craftsmen turned the wild mountainside into a new Jerusalem.
Selassie the First. As I said, the shock of the hour, of course, the tiger's nest, Lalibela, and of course even the great city of Lalibela. For those who have visited such a city, also even referred to now as the 8th wonder of the world, and just like the 7th wonder and the first wonder, which is the same wonder, I wonder what you're talking about. I'm talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza. Both the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Lalibela structure. Unlike the other wonders, because some of these other wonders, we're still wondering what happened to them. That's why they had to have 2 sets of 7 wonders. because the 6 of the 7 wonders in the first set began to crumble away and disintegrate and disappear and mash up. You understand? So they had to kind of fix it up and get a new set, but the Great Pyramid of Giza has ever been in the wonders of the world. Lalibela, although they call it the 8th wonder, you know what I mean? This ain't Andre the Giant because he's dead. I'm talking about the 8th wonder, as they call it, just like the Pyramid of Giza has been there for some time. Well, not as long as the pyramid for sure, but it's stronger for sure than the other wonders, that some of them not as old as the Lalibela temples. Some people actually date them as being older than the date that is given to them, because we're talking about King Lalibela's time. You go through history, you find different dates. You're coming across from 1157 somewhere to 1212. This is about the time frame for Lalibela, and as we are to accept through history and legend, the building of the temples, the building of the churches, wherein, of course, you know, archaeologists have dipped their spoon into the pot, and many of them have said that these temples and these churches were not built, like, definitely not overnight, not over 28 years. In fact, the whole complex took like a period of maybe 300 years to be fully complete. That's not me saying so now for sure. I'm telling you what the archaeologists would say. You know, there's this popular documentary, I think it's Ethiopian, the History Not Seen, where there's this French archaeologist making some claims as such, and then there are those that would tell you, and it's much older than 1,000 years ago as well, which is interesting, because for the crossed symbol to be much older than 1,000 years or even 2,000 years is interesting, you know, which is nothing that'll flip me, because the cross symbol, the heavenly cross, the southern cross, is in the southern sky, and from the oldest known religious writings, when we're talking about even the text, the pyramid text, of course, will show you the cross issued. So anyway, Lalibela, the structure, marvelous, of course, you know, hewn out of solid rock, you know, where you see, of course, what stands out to many is that cross, that beautiful cross church, which is the Beta Gerogis, the church of St. George, Kidos Gerogis, St. George himself, the St. George that slew the dragon, just as England would profess, you know, their patron saint, St. George, is the same thing that you have with Ethiopia as St. George, you know, just that one is seen as an African and one is seen as a European, and they're slowing a dragon and saving a damsel that is caught up in a tree. You know, that's the legend of St. George. Haile Selassie I really fulfilled the allegory, you know, and the metaphor of St. George. It happens all the time. Allegory becomes physical things, eh? Just believe that. So we can chant all day long that this and that ain't real. I could understand where you're trying to come from, but know for sure that if it's written as an ancient prophetic allegory, it will fulfill, it will play itself out in history, you know, whether in this modern history, something to come, or something that has happened already, or something that continually overplays and plays itself over and over again, maybe in every age. Hope I'm not going too fast here, you know. So Lalibela now, the complex of Lalibela, built by the great king. Today is Christmas, you know. Today is the 7th of January, at least on the recording of this. Today is the 7th of January, 2000 and what they call 19, Gregorian records we're keeping here. Today is the Christmas. Most Orthodox Christian churches would celebrate the Christmas around this time, the 7th of January. Some seem to do it on the 6th, but we as Rastafari, we hold fast to the 7th of January, what some call the Genar. If I'm not mistaken, the Genar is connected basically to a game, because some Ethiopians refer to this time as Lidet. So Lidet, Genar, you know, just blessed love and Baruch, you know, to each and every one on this celebration of the Christmas. You know, holy celebration of the Christmas. So we're celebrating the Christmas And talking about Lalibela as well. And the reason why I'm bringing this together, because it's something very important. I think I spoke of it sometime in the past, but let us home in on it now a little more. You know, Lalibela is unique. We speak about the lineage of Solomon. Lalibela was in the lineage of the Levite priests. Lalibela was in the lineage of Moses and Aaron, the Zagwe dynasty of great King Lalibela. Gabriel Mascal, that is him. Lalibela, basically the servant of the cross. His wife, Mascal as well. The cross, the glorious cross, that's his wife. So the cross, and even the cross structure and the Mascal and the 27th of September is all of this is quite related to ancient King Lalibela. So how unique, this great outstanding king. Some may put him as the greatest of all kings because of obviously the structures that has gone down, you know, under his name. But those of us as Rastafari, for sure, we beg to differ on them points there. I mean, you could have built the pyramids too, you don't mean a thing to me, you know. We know exactly who is the God in flesh, but sticking on Lalibela at the same time as an Ethiopian king is obviously outstanding. And what is unique, that he has gone into a different zone was created for his reign. And after his reign, the zone was you know, locked up as such and went back to business as usual. That is unique. You know, it reminds us of the Akhenaten spirit that many people consider to be some sort of deviation. We've done episodes on this on the Shock of the Hour, and we have put these episodes on the YouTube as well, directly dealing with Akhenaten and how he relates to the whole tradition of Kemet and the age of Aman and Aman-Ra and the Tutankhaten and Tutankhamun. So these are already seen. These are already there in the archives for those who would like to visit that information at any time. I'm just saying it's something similar to what you may see with Lalibela now. Not that there is a strong deviation, although in his era as such of Christianity, ancient Ethiopian Christianity, you see some unique symbols. You know, for those who have been to Ethiopia, you see even within the Zagwe dynasty, you see the kings with their cross, all the ancient kings, you see them with their cross in their hand. Lalibela cross is different. You know, Lalibela has a different looking cross. That don't even look like no cross. That just look like some mystic symbol of worship and vibration and frequency and electromagnetic current. You know, that's what a lot of these quote-unquote crosses are. Ethiopian crosses, to me, ain't crosses, man. Them is almost like snowflakes you're looking at. How they stand out differently than any quote-unquote the old rugged cross. Yeah, check it. This ain't the old rugged cross at all. This is geometry, you know, and sound waves in metallic form made from gold and silver and other metals. That's why the Ethiopian priest would make you kiss the cross and rub it in your face and rub it down your back and on their arm. He said, what's going on here? And some of us, we're very religious, so we're saying, boy, me not kiss that cross. And well, I have my cross. Look, I have my cross right here on the desk in my hand. This one is made from wood. I kiss my cross and touch my face with the cross. What are you talking about? You understand? I tell you, the southern cross in the heavens, and man. Some of us, our stardust come from the southern cross. You understand? Now, if you want to take it religiously, yeah, more than likely, the priest with the cross may be religious himself. I won't doubt it at all. Maybe he don't even understand the science he has in his hand, you know, with that metallic object that has the different points. Some of them have 32 points, 33 points, not no cross in it, man. Look at the Lalibela so-called cross, the Mascal. You understand? So there's a power in the formation, in the geometry of it, and the time of day, and the metal that it is made from. You rub your back from that, you're surprised the back pain might be gone. That's my point. Anciency. modern day. Remember them so-called cross coming from a time when the ancient Christian order was not a religion, you know. They had emperors like from Gondar there, Philadias, who had to run out the Jesuits and the Greeks and the Romans coming to try to whitewash the Christian order of Ethiopia. That is why up to today, I mean, if your stomach not strong and you go in Lalibela and see some of them freaky pictures they have on the wall, you vomit. You have to wonder what's wrong with these people here. I mean, you look and you see the white Jesus and the white Mary. I mean, in my book, Jesus is really white, you know, but just for clarity, and I don't want to stick on that point. The white Jesus and the white Mary, and then when you look inside, you see a whiter one on the floor. You say, wait, what's going on? What's wrong with you fellas here? And people telling you about, you know, tourism as if the tourists come to see that. The tourists ain't come to see that. Who tell you that's what the tourists want to see? Who tell you that's what the tourists want to see? The enshackled and enchained of us would be glad to see that when we come and say, oh, look, they have, you see? Yeah, that's what, yeah, they would love to see that. Because the Christian world don't give credit to the Lalibela churches. To me, that's a shame. You glorify all your cathedrals. You glorify all your cathedrals, brother. Judgment. And you leave it to the History Channel to come out with something and credit it to aliens. And now you want to talk about it because, yeah, it's aliens built it. Aliens are Christians now? Huh? Come on, don't be, I mean, come on. So I'm just showing you how far we go to duck out the truth. This is an ancient science. These buildings ain't no regular Christian buildings. They're geometrically set in order. You see the swatch sticker, as they call it, in the building. So maybe these are the reasons why the world tried to pretend as if they don't exist. And people like, what's his name, tried to credit the building of Lalibela's churches to the Knights of the Templars. Are you serious? I'm telling you. So give thanks to the great King Lalibela. Very unique and interesting. And very mystic. And as I said, mystically now, as you could see, according to the legend, he's seen to be of the tribe of the Levite and not of the tribe of Judah. And that whole priesthood science again, as we were speaking of the other day. Now, when you go into the mystic now of Lalibela, Lalibela is seen as a Christ figure. I've read several books directly dealing with Lalibela. There's a book, I never forgot this book, entitled The Ark. But the author, pardon me, the name slips me, and wonderful book. And it speaks about the Ark in the time of Lalibela as well. In this book, it's speaking of Lalibela's possession of the Ark. You know, before, because remember the Ark of the Covenant we're talking about, coming to Ethiopia now. According to the legend, it went to different places. It was on an island in Lake Tana, where you had the monastery where the monks took care of the Ark. And then it went to certain parts before it rested in Axum, where it is today, in the church of St. Mary there. So it spoke about the Ark being housed in Lalibela by the great King Lalibela. And how the Ark had to be brought before the king and many different things. And in that book and many other manuscripts, King Lalibela, the Gabriel Mascal himself, is described as the Christ, as almost the second Christ, or the twin of Christ. In fact, it is said that if you look on the face of Lalibela, you are looking on the face of Christ. To be touched by Lalibela is to be touched by the healing powers of Christ, even more so than Christ. Even if your kiss is cross, it's like you're kissing Christ. This ain't me. This is Ethiopian tradition. In fact, let us listen to this. Listen to this. Just listen to this.
Words into the mouth of Christ himself.
I blessed this place, and from now onwards let it be a holy place, as Mount Tabor, or as Golgotha, the place of my crucifixion, or as Jerusalem. If man undertakes pilgrimage to it, it is equal as if he went to my tomb in Jerusalem.
Okay, hold on. So, coming to Lalibela. This is Lalibela's word. This is what the priest say Lalibela said. Because, I mean, it may be 900 to 1,000 years ago. Some people say longer. That this is coming from. But the point is that, of course, you know, as I've said in other documentaries, Ethiopians are well known for keeping their records. And if generations upon generations upon generations of priests have been at this Lalibela site, they would have the words of Lalibela well said. And Lalibela is saying here is that coming here to Lalibela is just as good as going to Golgotha, where Christ was crucified. No, that's not what he said. No? You sure? No. He said, where I was crucified, my crucifixion. He said, coming here is like going to my birthplace in Jerusalem. Lalibela said that. That's what the man said Lalibela say. As I said before, when you read about Lalibela, you get the impression as if Lalibela is a Christ. And you can pick up from Lalibela's own writings as if not only is he equating himself to Christ, he speaks as if Christ is him. Listen to this part.
And if somebody receives my flesh and blood in those churches, he will be redeemed of all his sins.
Wait. And then, so Lalibela move. If somebody receive my flesh, Lalibela the man. If somebody receive my flesh and my blood in those churches, he shall be redeemed of all his sins. Am I missing something here? Them man that chanting that, what do they believe? The man that just said that a while ago, what do he really believe? Because to me that is as clear as crystal. If you go and accept my blood in them rock churches, you are good to go. You're safe. You ain't got to go to no Jerusalem, where I lived, and Bethlehem, where I was born, and what's the other place there? Golgotha, where I was crucified. The place of my crucifixion, mine? You? Yeah. Just stay here and accept me now here. Accept my flesh and blood and you're good. You can pass through the pearly gates. But Lalibela, how dare you? I mean, where he get them vibes from to be talking like that just because he built some churches? Yeah, good works. Good works. But I mean, you can't pass your place now. And there's a little sarcasm in my speech here, you know, man, because Lalibela, I mean, obviously stands out. He has he is in a class all by himself. The emperor of Ethiopia, before leaving to go into the underworld, before leaving Ethiopia to go into the Amenta, coming from the final battle of Mechu, passed through the highlands of Ethiopia and went to Lalibela to pray. Lalibela was born on the 7th day of January, the day that we call Christ's Mass, the day that we call the birth, the nativity of the Savior, Jesus Christus, Jesus Christ. The 7th of January is the very same day celebrated in Ethiopia as the born day of Gabre Maskal, King Lalibela. Negus Lalibela. Who's said to be of the Aaron lineage. And again, the mystics of that vibes come in. We just did a program on the priesthood. At least my priesthood was in question. And show you mystically of that ancient science and that balance of the allegory. But Lalibela is a historic king. And therein brings in a very key point here now. People are arguing, even Rastaman now. I know Rastafari. I know Rastafari, who scratched the head on today. Because a lot of Rast now are coming to the light of, you know, the archaeological facts. So Jesus Christ never existed. Number one, there's no J in Hebrew. A very big point, eh? You know that. Not one of my biggest points, but that's a key point. And I mean, you know, there's no Moses and no David and no Solomon. You know, that's a big point in this modern time. So we celebrating the 7th of January. You know what I mean? I mean, nice, I know, but whose birthday we really celebrating? That's a lot of ones ask that question now. You know that. Okay, so what do you mean no Christ ever existed? Wow, this is interesting. Even while I'm speaking, it's getting interesting. In my book, you know, just to cut to the chase, I don't want to leave the body hanging. In my book, I have, me personally, I have this understanding of the movements of the ages. And I think it is obvious that just with understanding that the cosmic delivers certain people, a certain one or certain ones at specific time in every age and in between. And these special people have a specific link with the cycle of the nucleus of the earth and all things, meaning that they're feathered snakes then. For example, Tutankhamun is a feathered snake. We busted down almost 4,000 years ago. That's a Christ figure. Akhenaten is a Christ figure. Semenkare is a Christ figure. Remember, we have the Semenkare documentary that is not on the internet as yet, eh? Semenkare. So anybody who wants a copy of the Semenkare, just email us and say you'd like a copy of Semenkare, and I send it straight to you, eh? Semenkare, he who is often forgotten. You need to see Semenkare. You know, it may come out in bits and pieces, and in a while or in a time you may see the fullness on the YouTube, but for now we're just giving it out. There's no fee whatsoever for it. You don't have to pay for it, eh? Just email me, preciser27@gmail.com, and I send you a copy of Semenkare. That's all, straight up. That's it. You need to see it, watch it, and with your family. That is one of our video lectures, one of our latest video lectures. So Lord Pakal is another Christ figure. What's wrong? The Buddha Gautama Christ figure. These are people that are seen historically as feathered snakes with clear science to express and prove their points. Just check the documentary 7. So these are several Christs. I'm not talking about those 16 crucified saviors. No disrespect, The 16 crucified saviors are mythological figures. I'm talking about human beings. Real people. Not Horus and Osiris and Jason and the Golden Fleece. I'm talking about people that fulfill these allegories. Tutankhamun, Akhenaten, Lord Pakal, the Olmec, the Gautama. You could argue about the Gautama, some argue about his reality and existence, but he's seen in the mask of the historical figure, Lord Pakal, clearly in different formations with an understanding, and yet still the link is clear, the link is sure. We're not talking about Vishnu, we ain't talking about Shiva. So to see Lalibela as a Christ figure ain't too hard for me, personally. So if Lalibela says what he says, I'm with him. That's just me. Now the Christ in the Bible of 2,000 years ago, he personally, when you read the scripture, says to his disciples that some of you shall not taste death before I come again in all my glory. And according to church history, all of them dead. And they died some gruesome death. All of them. And he told them, according to the Bible, that some of them ain't gonna die. When he was asked about the coming judgment, the Christ himself said that this generation we're living in will not pass. You're gonna see it now. 2,000 years ago, that's how the scripture is written. So that is why you could clear, that's why you have a good point, a good argument if you were to say, well, that's just an allegory like some of the other allegories that have a similar pattern of something to come. Because Haile Selassie is seen fulfilling a lot of that just a story in my book, some of which we haven't touched as yet. As an allegorical story, if it is. So people would argue. That is why now you'd hear the Nation of Islam say, I can't remember the percentage, but they would say that some percentage of the Jesus as such in the Gospels, a minute percentage, it might be 25 or something, is historical of that time, while 75% is of a next character to come in future time. I could rock with that understanding. I'm not putting my neck on the block for the percentage and all of that, but that makes sense to me. Because as I said, it is allegory. Any which way you turn it, it is. The Bible clearly says that them stories is allegory. Stop pretending you don't hear that. You understand? The Bible self tell you it's an allegory. But allegory in my book doesn't mean that there's not historical understanding in it. The Osiris story is an allegory. Haile Selassie fulfilled that as history. You understand? Yeah, again, So to see Lalibela as a Christ figure, although it's 1,000 years ago, ain't hard for me. So if the Christ 2,000 years ago didn't exist then, let's just say. And yeah, this is for the people that rock with that there, nobody 2,000 years ago exists. Alright. Alright. But Lalibela exists. Yeah. And he born the 7th of January. That's true. And today people flocking around Lalibela Church in Ethiopian or celebrating the birthday of Christ, and have some white Jesus stick up in there said, wait, you know, that the India praying to. So they surely ain't praising no true Christ. Whether it's 2,000 years ago or 8,000 years ago, they ain't praising no true Christ. The point I'm making is, maybe Lalibela is the true Christ. The same Christ for the 7th of January. Yeah, I know it sounds strange. I know it sounds hard. But to me, there are mystics that are not been unraveled yet. There are mystics that have not been unraveled yet. The tiger's nest is one of the key factories for unraveling the mysteries. Yeah, poetically expressed. That wasn't even that wasn't even the point that we were trying to, you know, put forward in poetic fashion. But yeah, I'm saying that may be one of the mysteries that we have not tapped into yet. That Lalibela is either one with the Christ of approximately 1,000 years before him, or he is the Christ himself. Because the way he talk, not unless something wrong with how I'm hearing this, but the way he's expressing himself.
I blessed this place, and from now onwards let it be a holy place, as Mount Tabor, or as Golgotha, the place of my crucifixion, or as Jerusalem. If man undertakes pilgrimage to it, it is equal as if he went to my tomb in Jerusalem. And if somebody receives my flesh and blood in those churches, he will be redeemed of all his sins.
But Lalibela ain't easy. So let me ask you a next question. Wow. When is Prince Emmanuel earthly? Huh? When King Emmanuel born? Don't give me no spooky vibes now, no. Let's get serious. When pardon me. Oh my, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I mean, I could have, yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. So King Emmanuel, I always say, you know, this is what the elders teach me. You know, the man always say, I came in 1914, he never gave nobody no birthday. I no one ever see King Emmanuel celebrate no birthday, you know. Now, recently, with the books 7 Unveiled, you know, the good sister that penned the book, within the book, she marks the 31st of May as King Emmanuel Earth Day, the 1914, 31st of May. If you watch the documentary 7, you see how much interest we put into that year 1914, the returning of Christ and all of that. So, you know, we made that link, 1914. If you watch the documentary 7 again, you see how we specify that 80-year period, that horror shall stay with us, Muhammad and the Buddha, all of these key figures, the Idi Amin, all of these key figures, you know, are with us for that 80 years exactly. Now, that good sister, it's sad, you know, I can't pull the sister name out of my head right now, but obviously she did her due diligence as far as it relates to the research, you know. I'm just speeding up because of timing. But what she did really, she traveled into the countryside, the inner countryside. She did the research. She met with family members, because, you know, as Baba Shanti, man will tell you they never seen a family come around King Emmanuel. Is just who his offspring and such and such and so on. So, but anyway, so she came with the idea that King Emmanuel was born on the 31st of May. There are many Baba Shanti that do not agree with that. I would not say I disagree. I mean, I got to respect her for the research that she has done. I mean, come on, she obviously has done a research. Those who have even flicked through the book, you could see, okay, the sister really, you know, did a research. You know, who amongst I and I have done them research to even come up with a date? You see what I'm saying? So she said the 31st of May. What is unique now, obviously, you know, we know that King Emmanuel, as I said in the episode we did, where is Prince Emmanuel now? We talk about the 31st of May. You know, the 31st of May, the same day that ones say that King Emmanuel laid out his structure. I wasn't there. In 1994. Do you know the day that King Emmanuel laid down his structure, on the 31st of May. Now remember, this man never celebrate no birthday, you know. He never tell nobody he born this day nor that day. This is really, really interesting. He never tell no one he born this day or that day. You know what I'm saying? But yet still, the day that you say he rests down his flesh is exactly to the very day, man, that is hot, to the very day, exactly 80 years to the very day that that sister, that empress says, according to her research, that the Black Christ Prince Emmanuel was born. 80 years to the day, not the day before, not the day after, square upon the head. That heavy. That's like the Idi Amin Dada and the burial and the birth of Marcus Garvey thing that we talk about in the Night of the Black Tiger. That's heavy. And if you haven't received a copy of the Night of the Black Tigers yet, I mean, I don't really understand what's wrong. The Night of the Black Tiger, our third official full-length documentary, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah Garvey, you need to contact us. It's an e-video. We send it right through your email. You get it in your e-box, your inbox, pardon me. You know, priestisaac27@gmail.com, The Night of the Black Tiger, you know. And of course, the documentary 7 and the Master of Ceremonies. Although you have those, the two documentaries, 7 and the Master on YouTube, you should still have them for your own collection. I don't know how long YouTube will tolerate our presence, you know how the thing go. So yeah, very, very key. Yeah, so I'm just saying now, so mystically, so from the 31st of May, 1914 to the 31st of May, 1994, mercy, man, that is sharp. If you want to talk about fulfillment of prophecy, so you can take it or leave it, according to the sister's word. Now, I may sound so sure there. You may say, well, yeah, wow, close the book. But to be honest, I don't go around preaching that. Well, I don't preach, but, you know, that he was born the 31st of May. You know? I'm just saying that it's mystic how it connects, that's all. Yeah. What I'm saying now is the 31st of May basically is the last day of this 7-day celebration when it comes to African Liberation Day. Prince Emmanuel, so technically it's a day of celebration, the 31st of May, you know. Technically it's a celebration day really, kind of how, you know, if you follow it down that kind of way. Just coming to the end of the celebration really breathing off. Because, you know, we usually have celebration 7 nights. You know, so it's just a mystic vibes. I'm saying that before I read that in her book about the 31st of May, and actually I haven't read the full book, you know, it's excerpts I really saw, about the 31st of May, I've always said to myself, mystically, could it be that the 7th of January is the birthday of Prince Emmanuel Charles Edward? Obviously, it's a day that is well celebrated. Because you're telling me, this is before I read this, you're telling me that this man is the Black Christ. And he ain't got no birthday, so some of us, we ain't gonna look for that because he's Melchizedek and he ain't got no mother and he ain't got no father. And he just appeared out of the blue. That's just how many of us think and thought and still think. So we're not even interested in no date because he ain't come out of nobody's womb. He better than Jesus, you know. He Melchizedek, not just no father. He have no father and no mother. No beginning of days. No ending of life. So yeah, bam, everything's safe. All right. But we as sensible ones know nothing can go so. So there's a day that the man was born. Come on, man, let's not overdo it. It's when we overdo with them kind of freaky vibes, when we lose the essence of what the truth is. the Scooby-Doo mentality would mash the vibes up and make people laugh at you. Don't come with them talk. The man is a man, a human being, with the power of the nucleus of creation within him. That's his soul. The creator's soul is his soul. Like it or not, it's up to you. Pardon me. Don't know how you go. But I'm just saying that the 7th of January has always been the vibes. I said, yeah, man. Especially as the Christ again speaks of himself as a Christ of the time, because the Christ of the Bible speaks as if he's in this time. The generation that shall not pass away, and those that are with me shall see me again. Some of you shall not taste death. And that is why this time that we're living is so special. We talk about Selassie is God, and this, and even Emmanuel is God, and Marcus is God. Let's take Haile Selassie alone for the moment. Watch this. Some of us can't appreciate this. This is not 500 years after the fact, you know. This is not us looking 1,000 years and 2,000 and 3,000 years ago in the future saying, or in the present from the past saying, oh boy, imagine how it was in the days of Moses. And imagine how it was in the days of, let's say, Tutankhamun. And imagine how it was in the days moving with Christ Jesus on the Sea of Galilee. Them is old time story. People arguing if some of them really exist. Eh? But yet still you can put on the television, put on the laptop, go on YouTube, put in a video and see when Haile Selassie come to Jamaica. Some of you were there. Some of you see him with your eyes when he came to Jamaica. Some of you see him when he came to Barbados and Trinidad. Some of you see him other places in the world. Some of you sit, you know, even with him. You may be of an elder stage now, but the point I'm making, even me, myself, when I was conceived, when I was growing in my mother's womb, His Imperial Majesty was still on the scene, you know. He was in house arrest at the time. Disappeared on the 27th of August. Them time I already conceived. I came out of the womb the year after. But the point I'm making is that my time is his time. Yeah, this is modern time. This is the same time. So if God walk on earth, this is bigger than Bible. If you say Selassie is God and this and that, this is bigger than anything in the Bible. It's bigger than when God come down on the mountain with all them clouds. And you live in that time. You live in that time. You see that same man that you're talking about. That this is not just your time, you know, this is for all times. Wow. So you yourself supposed to consider yourself, anybody that said them is Rasta man and Rasta woman and Rasta this, you're supposed to consider yourself as a real angelic, special, chosen being to return in the army of the Almighty in His coming in them times here. So you're gonna die and hope to come again and try again? You better check yourself now. I am on angel business. Me, angel business right now. I am honored to be a soldier in the army of King Emmanuel. This is another thing now. Enough of you sit with King Emmanuel as Bobo Shanti. Wow. Just understand the time frame. A few years ago, they were there. Just a few. And we think it's like something just happened and happened. This is the same time. The energy is still resounding right now, resonating, I should say. This is the time. This time bigger than any time ago. Any mythical time, any allegorical time, any esoteric time, any people debating if that time happened and if he exists. Well, you can throw all of that away from me, because I know I live in the time when the people that come, that really count, came from Haile Selassie to Prince Emmanuel to Empress Menen to Marcus Garvey, to Priest Kideme Shalom Isaac, the key people are here. You can fill in your name. I ain't calling nobody name for them. But the key people are here. Now, more than any other time. That's what I say. That's what I feel. So you can battle over where Jesus was born and if J exists and alphabet. You and them argument is old school talk to me. King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. He never celebrate no Earth Day. The 7th of January to me is a good candidate for the Earth Day of the Black Christ. Because that's the day he celebrate the birthday of Christ. Who is Christ? Who is Christ? Who? Jesus Christus? You ever meet him? Have you ever met him? I ain't dissing no Jesus Christus, brother. But Lalibela born the 7th of January. Do you see Lalibela as Christ? Now come to me no foolishness to me now. Do you see Lalibela as Christ? I'm more sure about Lalibela. Historically sound. Look the churches he built. So don't try to get cross with me and say, oh, you believe in no Jesus Christus. Do you believe in Lalibela? He said he's the Christ. Boy, Lalibela must have been flipped, boy. Maybe, you know what I mean, power got to his head in his last days. Hey, listen, I just like to keep a joy, you know. Hey, listen, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. That's what really, really is today, though. I really was honored, you know. Time is upon us. You don't know how it go. So yeah, man, a blessed Christ Mass. You know what I mean? Don't confuse Christ Mass and Santa Claus now and get the thing right, man. Know who you're celebrating. Know who Earth Day is celebrating, man. Know who is the Christ Earth Day who is celebrating, man. Because this is the day that Christ was born. Haile Selassie was born the 23rd of July, you know. Some man said that is their Christ Mass. That's what some man said. That is them Christ Mass. But that is the Christ and this is the time. And they don't believe in no Jesus neither. So, yeah. Yeah, man, so if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible must definitely become a mystery, man. That's why history is so key. You know what I mean? And as I said, still, understanding astronomy is well placed because, again, that's why you always see there's always a burst of frequency and energy and solar flares that create people. There are always sunspot cycles being born. You know, some of them maybe never even got down in history. You understand that they've been here. They've walked the earth. You know, and the power is within. You know, and God is within you as well. That's another thing. That's what I'm saying. This is the God time. This is the harvest of the gods. God is within you. You know, that is, from my understanding, that's what Prince Emmanuel teach. The God in you. You understand? People like to say, oh, Selassie never say he's God. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad when they say that sometime. Well, there you go. That's it, you know. Say it again, let them know that. Never say worship me. Okay, perfect. Good thanks, you know. Why should that offend me? You know what I mean? They're right. Yeah, give thanks again. A blessed Christ Mass on the 7th of January. Blessed Earth Day to King Lalibela. And blessed Earth Day to the Black Christ himself. You know? Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Remember, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are amongst us. King Emmanuel the 7th, Adoni I God, Jah Rastafari. Blessed love.
I see information service and some photo one of the yard and Glina and so the one of King Emmanuel. So what him say about what them say is what is to pass out. And King Emmanuel turned to them and said, what him know is Majesty did. Step down off the throne to drop the honors of the white world to rise on his creation throne.
Zion, heavenly children, Israelites, you know, if that house of Israelites, of Jehovah, royal sons and daughters, with New Jerusalem, shall rise up to them in this dark day of our Lord Nero's time. So that's right. Rastafari. Oh yeah. We are here also to defend the own pure and modest Emperor Selassie in the moment at this time in spiritual blood. There we are. And also the word of the Honorable Messiah Zagwe there in the Africa for the African for those.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise up with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions of the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there's a storm. Look for me all around you, for with God's grace, I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa, to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars, having passed through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards. You race of imbeciles, you race of good for nothing. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you have better die. Can we do it? We can do it. We shall do it. We have prayed to God for vision and for leadership. And he has given us our universal vision. A vision that will not limit our possibilities to America. A vision that will not limit our possibilities to the West Indies, but a vision that said there must be a free and redeemed Africa. Christ the crucified, Christ the despised. We appeal to you for help, for succor, for leadership. When you endeavor to carry your burden up the heights of Calvary, when white men spurned you, when white men scorned you, when white men spat upon you, when white men pierced your side out of which blood and water gushed forth, it was a black man in the name of Simon the Syrian who took your cross and bore it up the heights of Calvary. And now that we are bearing our burden, it being so heavy, we just ask that you just help us on up the heights. Oh yes, the cause is grand, the cause is glory. Surely we shall not turn back. Oh, sail on, sail on, sail on, oh mighty ship of state, sail on until the flag of the red, the black, and the green is perched upon the hills of Africa. Because the time has come for the black man to forget his hero worship of other races and to create and emulate heroes of his own. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and elevate the positions of fame and honor black men and women who have made a distinct contribution to our racial history. Sojourner Truth is worthy of a place of sainthood alongside the Joan of Arc. Crispus Attucks and George William Gordon are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than the martyrs of any other race. Toussaint Louverture's brilliancy as a soldier or a statesman outshone that of any other people. Hence he's entitled to the highest place as a hero among men. Because Africa's created millions and countless millions of black men and women in war and peace, whose luster and bravery outshone that of any other people. So why not see good and perfection in ourselves? We must inspire our literature and promulgate the doctrine of our own without any apologies to the powers that be. That right is ours and God. Let sentiments and cross opinions go to the winds. We are entitled to our own opinion and are not obligated to or bound by the opinions of others. If others laugh at you, return the laughter to them. If they mimic you, return the compliment with equal force. Because they have no more right to dishonor, discredit you in manhood than you have in dealing with them. Honor them in their...
Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God.